I regret this now.
Was it worth it?
No, it
The
wasn't.
OP.
It's going to happen.
Oh, we're back to this now.
We're back
Okay.
to this. The
All right.
OP says, now, I know this show gets a fair bit of hate, but I was wondering if anyone caught the last 2 episodes. The show, while I do enjoy it, I don't agree with all of their opinions, and I think that's the strong part of their show. There's no holding back of a debate, etc. However, for the longest time now, the show is honestly based around 4 to 7 minute rants from Maniro, the host. Usually, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I doubt he even plays the game anymore or has hardly touched Stormblood. He shuts out most other people by just being the loudest, and it's not his actual views that annoy me. It's the fact that he stifles discussion within most of the group. These last 2 episodes, he's been away, and Nika and Juxta have been sharing hosting responsibilities. Was wondering if anyone caught these episodes because they were pretty amazing.
Yeah.
They had actual discussion about the game.
Amazing.
I'm almost proud.
Oh,
Take my money, and here's a piece of furniture.
it's a little table.
Thank you.
It's more like a coffee table.
They had actual discussion about the game without 7-minute rants of yelling. It was a funny as fuck show.
Oh,
Still,
that is
Yeah.
fucking lying. Now
no,
you're
they
just
love us.
now you're just lying and
jelly.
sucking dick.
You're just jelly, Nero.
but everyone got to
Funny
speak.
as fuck, really.
But everyone got to speak, and they
Shut up. Kahlo, you shut the fuck up right now.
And I'm not the one talking. It's the
Funny,
Reddit guy.
funny as fuck.
And
The
they,
money umph.
and they spoke more about the game in that one show than they have probably in their last 10 shows. Great job, Nika and Juxta. Please consider breaking off from your host.
Quote, unquote.
Your shows were fucking great.
But I nailed it. It's about
I'd like to point out that second show was essentially just 3 hours of erotica. So what the fuck are you
I've
talking
noticed that
about?
so many times on that Reddit thread. People are like, oh, those last 2 episodes were so great, and I'm like, I actually made a comment that was like, I know what you guys are really into. Like, you guys are praising an episode that's literally about which characters have the weird sexual fetishes. Like, we see you, Reddit. We see you.
about puss, all right?
Come on now.
We see. I mean, but we know when the only things that get upvotes on Reddit are like naked fan art of Mikote is like, obviously this is what Reddit wants.
All right. Yeah.
So,
fine.
you know,
Sure. I'll believe that. I'll accept that as an answer. But I think what's actually, what you can see on display is just the automatic bias
Let's complain about it.
towards anyone who dares question the Reddit groupthink, right? Like, because that's what I think I've been most outspoken about.
I don't know. I think Reddit seems to have a point on this one.
Well, hold on. What
I'm
was
sorry. No. Because the thread preceding this message was 200 comments of
359.
That was, there were an extra 150 after I commented.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm just going to count all of those towards, responding to me. Because
Wait, why would you respond? This was a thread about why Nika and Juxta did a good job.
I had some select responses because the thing is that all of the comments underneath that were basically just shit talking me, and
That's off topic. Why weren't they deleted?
That's a very good question,
yeah,
actually.
that was, yeah.
So predictable.
But what the thread is actually asking is, did you hear the Nika and Juxta shows? And I mean, as many times as they attempted to redirect the conversation back to, well, did you actually listen to the 2 shows? It inevitably degenerated into how much I am a detriment to the show, or how much I'm a fucking anchor on the show, or how much they don't like the things that I say, or that I don't like my rants.
Since you weren't there this time, they obviously went back and listened to those shows, right?
No, it doesn't.
Some people said that they would, but I don't know if our
they
count
actually
shows
did.
any different.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Do we have any
did.
more download hits?
Why would people lie on the internet?
Well, here's the sad part. Here's the unfortunate part is that, for all of the 300 comments that were there, it didn't seem to really translate into clicks or downloads.
Aww.
Sorry, guys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But
and you know what upsets me?
You would think with this kind of outspoken backlash that it would translate into a lot of new people listening to the show. And
it's just that you're such an anchor that you bring us down even when you're not
Hold
here.
on. You said you commented?
I did.
When I read through earlier looking for comments, there wasn't a single one from you.
Yeah.
I didn't find it. I mean, Reddit does weird things where it like hides things or puts things in different orders based on it.
No, I read through the whole thing. Nothing from Maniro.
Well, I do know I can confirm that at least one of my comments was deleted in the thread, and it was the most visible and the one designed to kind of respond to the thread on a whole.
They censored you?
They absolutely did.
Wait, why? What did it say?
Well, I think the particular line that they took issue with was when I asked, are you retarded or just willfully stupid? Because they basically cited, like, you can't come in here calling people retards.
Oh, really? That's where Reddit draws the line.
Right. Retards is where Reddit absolutely says no. Which is, first of all, arbitrary as fuck. Like, can we admit that if 90% of the regular populace had come in there and said the word retard or even called somebody a retard, which I didn't do, by the way, I asked if they were a retard.
Stop asking questions.
I did the polite thing, because had they been a retard, they could have said, yes, I am a retard, and then that would have taken the conversation in an entirely different direction.
You know what upsets me most about this? As longtime listeners know, this isn't our first foray with Reddit.
Right.
Last year, we had a pretty epic, like, Game of Thrones level, like, clash with Reddit that actually resulted in some positive changes on the Reddit, the FF14 subreddit.
Well,
Yes, it did.
Yeah, and we had we had one of the mods come on the show and
we don't remember his
come and
name
talk it out.
we don't care. But yeah, it was a very
Iane.
Iane, there you go. Yeah, but
Edamame, right? Sure.
We came to a peaceful resolution that saw positive change. And now they're right back to censoring you. It's like, what good did it do?
Well, and here's the thing: is I did have a back and forth with I believe it was Earwax that I was talking to.
Iane.
Whatever. And basically what they took the biggest issue with retard, and they said
but there was someone else that called us douche nozzles.
Sure.
I feel like that's mean too.
Oh yeah.
Why don't they delete that? That comment's still there.
Well, and the
That's
thing
really rude to the actual douche nozzles that exist in the world, the objects, because nobody wants to be compared to living by gravy.
What he told me was that if I edited what I said, if I had taken the offensive parts out of out of my reply, that they would allow it to go back up. And what I simply responded was, I take responsibility for the shitty words and the shitty things that I say. If you want to take it out, you can edit it, but tell your community that you did, because I think that that's important to disclose. And instead, they handed me a 72-hour ban. Yep. So,
Thank you kindly.
After this exchange, I took to Twitter, and it's funny because Angry Leftist on Twitter. This really triggered Angry Leftist, that fag.
Hey, you can't say stuff.
I'm so sorry. I can't.
We don't have our trans shield here. You can't do that.
Oh God.
Anyway, so what that little bitch, Angry Leftist, said was, well, after that tantrum, because basically what I went to Twitter to say was, well, if Reddit or our ffxiv in particular is going to let a 300 plus comment thread stand of nothing but shit talking about me, and won't let me respond directly to it in the way that I feel should be responded to, that first, that they absolutely are censoring me. They're taking away my voice. And that changes that thread from one of feedback to harassment. If you don't allow me to respond, that kind of that colors that thread a lot differently. Because if I had the ability to hit back on something other than my very well listened to podcast and radio show, that you would be taking away my voice. Now, you can argue that it was the words that I chose to use. I don't think that holds up at all. There's a massive double standard here.
Especially just if you read the other comments, there are so many like horribly mean comments that should have been equally removed. If that is their guideline, they need to be consistent with everyone, not just...
Especially considering that, again, the topic of this entire thread was, did you listen to the episodes that did not have a Nero?
Right. So the bulk of the conversation should have been about the performance that Nika and Juxta gave, not about me. I didn't... Listen, okay, if you need any more evidence of how important I am to this show, okay, there is no one outside of maybe Mr. Happy that could elicit a 200, 300 plus comment thread by not doing or saying anything.
Oh my God.
I didn't do or say anything for 2 weeks, and yet I still have threads of upwards of 200 comments, 300 comments, wherever the fuck you want to put it.
And can you put your raging
They locked
boner
it now,
away?
though. We can't comment anymore.
And fun. Who else in the FF14 community can generate that kind of
Yoshi P.
Yes, that's true.
So Yoshi P, Mr. Happy, and Nero, they're all on the same level. Anyone else?
If they don't do anything, people complain.
Dude, I'm so fucking proud of that. Like, I'm so proud of that alone. Just the fact that I can do nothing and still inspire the kind of galvanizing that I do every week on the show. I mean, you know what? They're right. I really don't need to be on the show anymore because I will end up creating problems no matter what. Like, if I'm on this show, Reddit hates me. If I'm not on this show, Reddit still fucking hates me. It's kind of weird. It's kind of interesting how that works. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing about Limit Break Radio, because and of course, anytime we have a go around like this, it's like we have to stop and pull the show over and re-explain how, the point of the show and why we make it. But one of the things that, what you guys have got to remember, and this is true, that when we brought Limit Break Radio back, one of the things that we had said internally is, like, we don't want to be famous. Like, if we wanted to be Final Fantasy famous, like, we already did that. We did that the first go-round. And we were pretty good at it. I want to be infamous. And as far as I'm concerned, mission fucking accomplished. 110%. Like, you would think that a show like this would lose a little bit of steam after 2 weeks of changing their format, but we're creating just as much. I mean, really, like, Reddit is a promotional platform, no matter. Unless you're Reddit, right? Like, unless you're Reddit,
it's what the rules say.
Exactly. It's pretty much a promotional platform. We didn't make that thread. We weren't trying to push promo. We weren't trying to push people to listen to the shows.
Somebody swears we make all of our Reddit threads.
I know, right? I love that accusation.
Actually, earlier, Juxta was like, I actually kind of thought that maybe being gone for 2 weeks, that Nero had made that thread.
Oh, I wish.
Under like a fake account.
I fucking wish.
But apparently that guy has like 15,000 karma. And that's
1,500.
Oh, 1,500. Yeah, that's way too much effort for Nero to put in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's read a couple of these comments because, I mean, again, do I honestly think that this is harassment? No, probably not. But I mean, like, when you stack the deck like that against someone, I feel like they're,
when you're a public figure like that, you kind of invite it.
Well,
you should watch what you wear.
Dude, it's so weird that you would ban you're talking about my fucking show. Like, you can't exclude the person who makes the thing from the conversation.
Except that this thread wasn't about you; it was about the absence of you.
Yeah,
okay?
You were off topic.
I was, and if they wanted to remove my posts on those grounds, that's fine. But they said it was because I called somebody a retard, which I didn't. So. Nothing is consistent about the enforcement of this. They literally did go out of their way to censor me specifically. I do feel singled out and targeted.
Absolutely.
And
we're pretty butthurt about it.
And 300 comments? Sorry. I mean, most of them savagely critical. Sorry, dude. Yeah, like, when you remove my ability to respond to that, yeah, that sort of it definitely crosses a line, and it makes me go, fuck you, and it exposes your absolute, awful moderating of your own community, because if they're willing to do this to me, what makes you think that they're not going to do this to you?
I'm disappointed. All right, last year we saved Reddit from itself, went out of our way, dedicated several episodes to helping clean up the scourge that was Reddit and putting them on the righteous track.
Right.
And they've thrown it all away again. You don't get that twice. Okay, that's it, Reddit. We're done now. We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're lawful good.
You want to know what I find most hilarious about the whole thing, though?
Maybe
the amount of comments that pointed out one of the reasons they don't like us. Like, well, we can put up with, their negativeness because it's dissenting opinions. But what we absolutely can't put up with is how it's the same stuff every single week. So what we're going to do is we're going to ignore you guys and go play this awesome game that has given us the exact same stuff, 3 expansions and a fuck. Do you see the irony?
Who's stupid now, bitch?
Seriously.
Jesus Christ.
And I mean, yeah, that the irony there is not lost on me. Tons of critical comments, tons of criticism, and the funny thing is that people are like, oh well, look at the way that you're responding to criticism. Like, it's funny when somebody pushes back against criticism, whether it's valid or not. They always get this label of like, oh well, you're throwing a temper tantrum.
If you don't follow the criticism,
right,
that means that you're not open to it.
That's right, yeah. And if you openly say, fuck you, your criticism is stupid, oh, God forbid.
By the way, Reddit, fuck
God
you, your
forbid.
criticism is stupid.
It is stupid. Let's read some of the stupid criticisms. Do you want to go ahead?
We're going to do that. All right. So the first one isn't so much criticism, but man, it was perfect. It's actually one of the first ones that I read. From Scarlet. I wonder what the odds are that this thread gets brought up the next time LBR rants about Reddit commentators and decides to clarify things, winky face.
I responded to that one too, and I was like, yeah, well, the thing is that we have to keep clarifying things because of all the generalizations that keep being made about us. And they responded in some like super nice, like, oh yeah, I'm sure you guys are so sick of responding to these by now. It's like, oh shut up with your bullshit. Like,
yeah, we are. It's specifically yours, so shut up and add something. Maybe add something to the conversation that wasn't already pre-existing, right? Like, can you contribute just a little bit? Like, we come up with a new show every fucking week, right? Like, okay, yeah, some shit repeats itself. Like, when you have a podcast that goes on for 120 episodes, like, do you know how often we get asked to do fanfics, or we get asked to do all of the stupid shit that they had to do last episode to be able to make a show?
The only thing they ask us to do that we're not going to do is a crafting episode. Fuck that.
Exactly. So, like, I don't know that I understand the nature of complaining about, oh well, they repeat themselves and it's the same shit over and over again, and they're just going to bring this up again. Yeah, of course we're going to bring this up again.
Especially when like half that thread was like, oh, is that podcast that just wishes 14 was 11? I'm like, God damn it. You don't clearly listen to the show. And that's why it's so frustrating that we have to keep repeating ourselves, is because nobody like gives it. I don't know. It's like, I don't want to say nobody listens, because clearly plenty of people listen. Like, there's these idiots that just generalize and then create threads like this, which creates nonsense bullshit like that statement.
But it does give us stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it does. It gives us stuff to talk about. Not only that, but most of the time when you get a thread like this, right? You have people who are piling on and all of that, but you also get the benefit of getting exposed to new players, and a lot of people will see the negativity. They may tune out, but I think it's a 50-50 shot that they give that link a click, or they come to the website, and then when they listen to the show and they actually find out what the show's about, they end up liking it. We've found tons of fans that way.
There was one comment that was like, oh shit, they're still around? I used to listen to them in the 11 days.
Uh-oh.
Now, I don't know if he actually went and listened to us again or not. I hope for his sake he didn't.
Uh-oh.
But, yeah, that happened. Next comment from So Many Deeds. People who think through sheer ignorance they can make money off their content. I had a friend who did host stuff for large games, and as a host, you don't really need to know much about much other than to keep guests on track. Unfortunately, it sounds like the guy in question doesn't actually know how to host at all.
Sounds like, which means that they didn't
never actually
bother to listen.
To the show. Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that.
That is the completely incorrect criticism. Like, say what you want about Anira's progress in the game, but you cannot say that he doesn't have hosting.
Well, this guy obviously saw one of the first comments and a link there too of your lodestone.
Sure.
You're only level 64.
I know.
How do you know what's
shocking and scandalous?
How do you know what's going on if you don't even do what's going on?
It's like I've played this expansion twice before.
But you don't know that. You don't know that.
Really?
Because you're only level 64. Look, for example,
hang on.
I'm level 67.
Okay.
And I know that it's all the same because I've played it. But you don't know that.
Okay, so let me see if I can guess. So,
Okay.
let's see. There's probably a major character death that may seem surprising, but for anyone who can read the basic outline of a plot, can see that telegraphed about 3 moves ahead of time.
And also, they don't die.
Oh, good. That's always fun.
Spoiler.
Wait, which one?
Let me see. Let me see.
This is not our spoiler episode yet, guys.
is there an awkward shoehorned love story somewhere? No. Okay. I mean, it's a Final Fantasy game. It was a guess. It was a wild guess. Are there a couple of dungeons that really don't take a whole lot of thinking to be able to work your way through?
That's just a game. That's the center spot and bingo card.
And there's
But to be fair, there's some really, really, really cool looking dungeons.
Okay.
They're really aesthetically awesome.
Nika.
Okay.
Doma Castle is fucking cool, and so is Alamigo.
Oh, well, I haven't been there yet, so I don't know that.
Listen. Most of Stormblood visually is pretty good.
If you like brown and gray.
Hey, there's green in the steps.
I will accept that. I will at least accept that. Okay. However, okay, that's about all it's got going for it. Like the zones designed very well, and at this point, that's all it's got going for it. The story, right? Like. You have to be able to judge a story on the merits of the story, right? Like how well the narrative is engaging you. I'm pretty sure that the main bad guy just kicked my ass and walked away.
Twice.
Why?
Or 3 times?
Why?
2 or 3 times?
I think it's twice now. But why? Fucking idiot.
Oh, yeah, it's because farmers showed up with pitchforks. And he has a magic blade. And also, apparently, he wants a challenge.
Well, I didn't say it was a good reason. It's an anime
That's
reason.
exactly my
it's
problem.
It's an anime reason.
Have I not?
Blame the Japanese.
I do. And
Okay.
have I not been very open about the fact that this expansion, the aesthetics, the setting, everything around it does not grab my attention, does not hold my attention, and does not do anything for me. Like, why is it? Fuck off. Why is it that it's such a fucking surprise after E3, after San Diego Comic-Con, after taking a week off, after 4 fucking weeks of power problems in my apartment, that I could be lagging behind a little bit? Is it really that fucking surprising? I mean, you guys ostensibly watch this show. You're fans enough of this show to be able to tell me whether or not I still have a place on my own fucking show that I've hosted for 4 years and then, 6 before that, okay? Right? If you're such fucking experts, tell me exactly how long I've had power problems. And then rewind the clock, since remember, you're the fucking historians here and you're so fucking smart. Rewind about a year to last summer when I had computer problems. What do you think the computer problems were actually caused by? They may have been caused by this underlying electrical problem. Do you think it may have made me a bit gun shy about turning on my computer because I did not want to incur undue cost to this company, having to replace the computer that is the heart of the studio that we use every fucking week?
Real life shit doesn't matter, though. It's only what's face value on the internet, and that is what you are like.
Yeah, Blue Garter taught that to Nika.
Yeah, they did.
Everyone's perception of you is always accurate.
Yes.
Remember that.
Next comment comes from...
I got this one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
What?
Who does it come from?
It comes from W Sox fan